one regarding my dad. So he's turning 90 on
Wow,
Friday,
great.
and he has mild cognitive decline.
Okay.
He has peripheral artery disease, so he's a very
Yep.
difficult time walking.
Yeah.
His legs are very weak. He has to rely on the walker all the time. So I've tried to do things and he's eaten carbohydrates his whole life.
Right.
Cereal
As
for
most of us
breakfast.
have, that
Yeah,
it's, as most of us Americans have.
right, right. So been trying over the years off and on to get him to switch up a little bit in terms of not always having like the cereal for breakfast and eating so much bread like a sandwich. He thinks he
Yes.
needs to have a sandwich for lunch, but that's marketing because we've been
Yep.
programmed to think that that's what we're supposed to eat. But in any
That's true.
event, with the amount of time he has left, I don't know, it could be 10 years, it could be 10 days. We don't know when you're 90.
Right.
But just trying to look at some options for him. I did buy some berberine because I suspected that his blood sugar levels were elevated because he had passed out one time and went to the hospital, and they said that his glucose level was high, but that he was not diabetic.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's true or not. But either way, I did try, I am trying to cut back on his carbohydrates and things like that. So just trying to get an understanding if there's any specific testing that I can maybe request when he goes to see, I don't know,
Yeah.
a neurologist or something.
Yeah. So you have to take them to the right neurologist, because a lot of neurologists will simply say, oh, this person has MCI, we're going to give them Aricept. Which doesn't really, it doesn't change the underlying problem. But again, you're basically talking about a tune-up here. There is so much that you can do because, as you're pointing out, most of us have been doing the wrong things, eating cereals for breakfast our whole lives, eating too many carbs, having high blood sugar. And you mentioned some vascular disease. There is so much that you can do. To begin with, just getting him some improvements on day one, you could consider some exogenous ketones. If I don't know what his cholesterol status is, but you probably want to stay away from MCT oil only because of the potential effect on lipid status. But getting some ketone salts or ketone esters or a combination of those, that will boost the support. Now exercise, you can do exercise without getting up and running around. There are all sorts of, the arm exercises and core exercises that can be done. So that could be helpful to him. And as far as evaluation, yes, and we developed something called Recode. You can look at so-called Recode report. You want to know the basics that are driving this problem. And you've already described several of them, things like cerebral blood flow changes. I don't know what is happening to his oxygenation at night. You can function as his health coach, or you can get him a health coach and really start working with him to optimize these various parameters and get this whole system working again, working together. He's a very strong guy. He's 90 years old. And yet, as you said, he's been doing a lot of things wrong. Imagine that he starts doing those things right now. He may do well for, as you said, for 10 or more years, 10 or more additional years. So yeah, there's a lot you can do for him. And yes, you want to know the very parameters. If you take a look, for example, at any of those 3 books, it goes through, here are the tests that you want, and here are the actual places that these tests should be.
Thanks very much, Doctor. And Crystal, thanks for your note. I know you have another question. Go right ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, the second question, thank you so much, was how would I go about getting the right kind of test to find out if I am ApoE positive, negative, or one gene, one copy, 2 copies? Yeah. Is there a specific test that I need to request?
Yeah, and you can go on mycognoscopy.com and you can get this whole set of tests. If you just want to know your ApoE status, you can do that with 23andMe, for example. That's one easy way to do it. But that'll tell you your genetics, but it doesn't tell you any of your biochemical concerns. So doing those, doing either one of those things, easy to do. Or you can ask your doctor, who can also order these things.